Alright, I think we're good. Alright. We chat up on the screen. How are we doing? Alright. How are we doing, chat? I see a lot of people are excited for Toons. Toons looks like a pretty decent deck list, right? I've been doing a bit of cheating and looking at some of the deck builds people are coming up with, so I've seen some of the cards in here. Definitely not all of them, but I've read a few of them. Mostly I've seen a few of the Toon cards, but still quite a few I haven't read yet. Am I finally make it? Pendulum Reborn, dude. That is an ancient meme, bro. Not just Toon and Tenyi. Dude, the Tenyi stuff, I thought Tenyi because I had a very, very brief look for the thumbnail for what I was going to put on the thumbnail. And my god, I didn't actually realize. I thought Tenyi was like, oh wow, I've actually got like nothing to summon with Tenyi. Wait, that's the wrong one. This one? Yeah, I thought we had like nothing to summon with Tenyi, but apparently there's a limit 1 bundle somewhere. Is that even shown on this website yet? I thought that was a limit 1 bundle. Well, apparently we're getting the synchro monster, the late synchro monster that I don't see on here, but anyway. So yeah. It's in the leaks article. Oh, is it not shown in game yet? Oh yeah, there it is, Draco Berserker. Yeah, so he's coming. Mr. Draco Berserker is coming. So Tenyi does actually have a boss monster to go into. And yes, it will be limit 1. That's completely fine. The deck doesn't need any other limit 1 cards anyway. So it'll be fine. Can I make this chat bigger? It's hard to read some of these chats. You're very, very far away from me, actually. Yeah, slightly bigger. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, we've got a lot of cards to go through today. Thankfully, it's only a mini box, so not as much as a main, but still got quite a few to go through. Let's hope my face isn't blocking too much of the cards. Chat's kind of blocking it. Let's make it slight. Oh my god. Maybe if I make it slightly smaller. Yeah, that works quite well. Another potential for Rockets. Does Rockets really not have a limit 1 card in the deck? Does Rocket really not have a limit 1 card at all? Surely they've got something that's limited to 1, right? Oh god, just a lure? Okay, well, I guess they can play it too if they want it. Jacob Berserker's the best rocket card? Okay, buddy. Let's start with the box. Alright. So we've got some Tenyis. Starting off with Tenyi Spirit Shithana. If you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If a face-up non-effect monster you control is destroy a battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. Then target one of those destroyed monsters, special summon it. Then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. You can use each effect once per turn. This is probably every time I do one of these box reviews, we always start off with like the shittest card in normal. We always read out some like burn damage effect card or something. This is probably the first time in like the how many years I've done these box reviews that we've started with a card. I'm like, hey, that's a good card. I've actually started with a card. It's like, oh, that's good. This thing is just a free special summon right at the start, which goes into your Link 1 and goes into all the Tenyi kind of stuff. So already it's a good card. Its graveyard effect is pretty good, but the fact that it's a no effect monster, you can just special summon it, go into your Link 1 is, you know, good. Also, you can use it as a water monster for Shark as well if you want to. Yeah, what if a good card in the normal rarity section as the first card we review? That's crazy. Also, apparently they put the reprints at the top or something. I guess they moved the reprints to the top. I'm not sure why they did that, but sure. So yeah, pretty good card. It's not the best of the Tenyis, obviously, because they doesn't help you that often go into your synchro. It's mostly used for just being an extendery card, going into your Link 1. But the graveyard effect is fairly relevant. Yeah. So not a bad card to start with, honestly. Good start for the Tenyis. Alright. Now we have the Tenyis I'm not familiar with because they're not in Master, or they're not played in Master Duel, so. Alright. Nahata. If you control no effect monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. When an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster and an opponent's face-up monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. That opponent's monster loses 1500 attack to the end of this turn. Right, so bit of a worse effect than this guy, but yeah, because Tenyis do like using the non-effect monsters, but they don't really rely on them as like the win con. They're just kind of how they extend into things. So I don't really think we care too much about this. I mean, 1500 attack is a decent stat decrease, but it's kind of like playing Honest or something. It's like a Boojin style effect, you know? Play it one for the name? Maybe. Not sure about that one. Like, I think I'd prefer to play this one as a starter over this one. But it's just based on how all the other Tenyis work. We might not even need these in the deck, because Duel Links is a 20 card deck, so it might be hard to sort of fit everything in. Because there's a lot of good Tenyis, especially the ones coming up the top, I imagine, so not sure. I'm not sure if we have room for like a 1500 attack boosty thing, which we probably don't really need. Alright, then we have Mapura. If you control no effect monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up non-effect monster you control, quick effect, you banish this card from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So, I mean, this card, I mean, I think Tenyi's mainly going to, as much as they like having non-effect monsters, their main focus is probably going to be, actually, that's the wrong one, this one. It's probably going to be summoning Draco Berserker, right? Which is not a non-effect monster, so that makes this thing not all that relevant. But this does protect your Link 1 for things and lets you actually go into, I don't know, baits out people that can't read. It definitely baits out people that can't read. But I can see it getting some play, because I'm assuming we're getting the Link 3 normal monster 10. He's up here. So, I mean, sure. I just don't see us realistically focusing too much on the fact that they're non-effect monster ones. Probably just going for, yeah, I don't know. But I'm probably heavily influenced, by the way, by how these decks are played in Master Duel. So maybe in Duel Links it'll be more actual non-effect monster focused, and it won't just be like, I don't know. Is turning a hand trap? Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, you'd summon it, go to Link 1. If your opponent tries to disrupt to Link 1, then it gets screwed over by this thing. Kind of helps that. There's a lot of Duel Links is targeting effects. Especially in back row. Only really IDP's the only, like, threat in back row. Compulse and Book, it's all targeting. But yeah, I don't think deck can really realistically get away with playing too much around the non-effect monster stuff. It's probably going to be more Berserker focused, which makes these cards pretty irrelevant. But these are good cards, so I could see them being played. Just depends on how the deck ends up. I'm not sure how non-monster focused it will be. Alright, let's have a look. Tatsuke Knight. Okay, so surely so we looked at some good cards. Surely we're back to the actual normals that suck ass. Let's have a look. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while you have no cards in your hand and this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then end the battle phase. We have no cards in your hand. I was like, it's nearly a cringy Kite Roaring card. It's getting pretty close to cringy. It's getting pretty close. The no cards in hand thing probably means we don't care about this, but unironically, we can't call out cards like this as being too broken because we know how cards like Kiteroid work in this game. Things that end the battle phase are really good. Like the Necros card that you just discard end battle phase. The Kiteroid delaying the stuff. The Battling Boxer card that just stops you taking damage or heals you back up. So yeah, there might be some world where... Yeah, Infernity, I guess. But yeah. It probably isn't going to see play just because of the lack of hand size needed for it. But it's not the worst card out there. There might be some rank 4 thing that can use it. I doubt it, but you don't know. Wait, is this an archetype? No, it's not. Okay. Sukumo Slash. If a monster you control attacks a monster whose attack is higher than itself during damage calculation, your battling monster gains attack equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's. Okay, so we're back to the garbage cards. Alright, let's not play this card. Is your life points like... It's not even... Okay, we're not playing that card. Okay, let's move on. Toon Mask. Alright. This is some interesting looking card art. 3 effects combo. Oh shit. It's insane. Alright, if you control Toon World, target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Special summon one Toon monster from your hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to its level / rank of that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. Now, this would be good if there was a Toon that actually, like, has a destroy on summon or something. Maybe. But I don't think there's no, like, Toons that destroy on summon, right? So I know we're getting BLS, but this one's, like, you have to use during your turn sort of stuff. I don't think there's a Toon that actually has, like, an effect on summon, so probably don't care about this card. Plus, I don't think Toon's going to struggle too much to special summon after this box comes out, so probably don't need this. Alright. Squeak Knight. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect. Treat this card as a tuner this turn, or you can only special summon once from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Okay. Once per turn, you can either target one face-up monster you control, equip this card to that target, or unequip it and special summon it. If the defensive monster would be destroyed battle a card effect, destroy this card instead. Okay, why would we play this? I don't know. Okay, I'm missing inside this card seems absolute hot garbage. Do I have an example deck list for Tenyi? Bro, we just started the review. I'm like 7 cards in. We can look at some example deck lists at maybe at the end of the review, not before we've even gotten into it. Alright, yeah, I think we're getting this Great Knight is pretty meh. Infernoble? Do we even have Infernoble in the game? Like, the proper stuff yet? Isn't that the cards that we're still waiting on? We got that one structure deck and we're like, holy shit, Infernoble's coming, and then it never came. So I don't think we care about this yet. Alright, moving on. We do? Do we? Like one card? Anyway. Shadow Toon. Okay, what is this card? If you control Toon World, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that face-up monster. You can activate one Shadow Toon once per turn. Unironically, this could lead to lethals. But it'll be a pure going second card. Then again, you got a lot of searching in Toon. This would be a pretty funny card, because what deck doesn't start with a monster with 2000 attack on field? Wait, it's halved? Oh. Oh, I thought they updated the card text for the website. God damn it, never mind. Yeah, never mind. Card's garbage. If it wasn't halved, unironically, this thing in combination with just either the is it the BLS that can attack on summon, the Toon Dark Magician Girl that can attack on summon, literally just lethals instantly, so you probably could just play this at 1. But half is like, you know, 1500 damage plus Toon Dark Magician Girl, is it enough? 1500 plus this one's probably enough, so maybe you could still play it. I think if you were going to play something like this, there'd be something you play at 1, because you can just search for it if you need it, and it's awful going first, so. But I don't think we're going to rely on this card. I think there's better ways to play Toon. Okay. There's no way I'm the only person that read this card name. How I thought this said sexiest summon when I first looked at it. I was like, oh shit. Sexiest summon? Shit, okay. I was like, god damn. The sexiest summon, alright. Banish from your hand, graveyard, and face up on the field 6 monsters, 1 each. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Link. Oh god. Where are we going with this? Each with the same original type. Then they have to be the same type? There has to be a Ritual, Fusion, a Synchro, Xyz, a Pendulum, and a Link that are the same type. Then spell summon monster in extra deck with the same original type as the... You get... What? Is this card real? What? It's to banish 6 monsters. They have to be Ritual, Synchro, Fusion, Xyz, Pendulum, Link, and then you get 1 summon from the extra deck. I think we've actually found the worst card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think I've ever read a card as bad as this. This thing is so bad. Holy shit. But it is sexy though, that is true. That is true. Banish 6, summon 1. Like, banishing 6 is already hard, but they have to be a Ritual, of Fusion, a Synchro, Xyz, a Pendulum, and a Link. Like, what? Like, okay? In what world? Sounds like a challenge. No, thank you. I would... No, thank you. Alright, moving on. Once per turn. Oh, that's... Thank God it was once per turn. I would hate if we actually got to use this multiple times. That'd be just too broken. Alright. Parthian Shot. At the end of the battle phase, it becomes the end phase of this turn. This is... Do they not know? Do we... Does anyone want to tell them, or... Does anyone want to tell them? Just like the people at Konami, maybe they don't know yet. Thank God we can skip main phase 2 finally. I was so worried about those Zeus combos in Duel Links. They're getting a bit out of hand. So thank God we got this card now. Thank God. Never mind. I think I'd prefer to play this card over the Parthian Shot. Right, moving on. Alright, what is going on here? Packet Swap. Is that the same as that other card art, right? Target 1 face-up non-link monster you control and 1 link monster your opponent controls. Switch control of those monsters. Okay, I mean... I think I just prefer to play the card that just takes control of it rather than playing a card that has to trade out for one of my monsters for it. But I guess you can give your opponent some monster you want to burn him with or something. It's a fun card, but yeah, never gonna see play. Alright, isn't this the search? This is a normal? Okay. Okay, this is a normal apparently. Heavenly Dragon Circle. Tribute 1 worm monster and 1 worm monster. So tribute 1 worm monster, add 1 worm monster from your deck to your hand. Or if you tribute a non-effect monster to activate this card, you can special summon it instead, but negates effects. During the main phase, you control a face-up non-effect monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Tenyi card from your deck to your hand. You can only use blah 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 once per turn. Yeah, this card is really good. I'm surprised this is a normal. Because Tenyis work pretty easy. You just special summon out any Tenyi, use this thing to tribute off the Tenyi, add a worm monster from deck to hand. You can then use this thing in your graveyard if you have a non-effect monster, which you will, because you probably search for another Tenyi, summon it, go into your Link 1, activate this thing's effect, search for another Tenyi. But the fact this is a normal is kind of surprising to me. Also, yes, very important is it's a quick play. So if you special summon out a Tenyi, or you go for your Link 1, and your opponent activates Link to remove that Link 1, you can respond with this card, tribute out your monster, special summon from deck, because it's a, if you're using it on your Link 1, if you're using it on one of your Tenyis, then you just get a search. But you essentially dodge your opponent's back row if they're dumb enough to play into this thing. I'm not sure what, we'll try to ignore the, we'll try to ignore the Tenyi stuff in here. I'm just curious what we actually have in, I just have in Tenyi. What other worm stuff we have in this game? Because I don't think we have many cards. Mind deck. I don't think we have many. These things are worm? What the hell? Oh my god, murder first pog. What the hell is Dracoon Lamp? What? Yeah, I don't think we have the Xyz, I guess. Could be something you could combo them with, I guess. Is Xyz is realistically the only art. Wait, that's it? We actually have that. That's it? It ends there? And half of these are new cards. Well, there's really like there's Metaphys and Xyz. That's the only two worm decks we have. I feel like this deck's just going to be pure, right? There's not enough worms for it to not be pure. Like in Master Duel, it gets comboed with quite a lot of things, but I feel like when there's not that many options, you're probably just going to play pure. Or you might just not want to play this card, but I feel like you probably should play this thing. It seems too good. I think the thing just generates you a card, and it's a good way to dodge back row. It's just such a good card. And Cog with pure Tenyi. I don't think that'd be that hard. Until we get Sword Solder, that's copium. Alright, moving on. Drama Dropper. Quick effect. You can attach on material from an Xyz monster you control and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change the attack to 0 until the end of this turn. If it is Xyz monster you control would activate an effect by detaching material except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You banish this card from the graveyard instead. Okay, so this card is hot garbage. Yeah, this card is hot garbage. I mean, it's like, these cards are like, if your opponent has a Link monster, you're not going to play it. If your opponent has an Xyz monster, you're not going to play it. These cards are too specific. You just never see them. Like, the second effect of this card's unironically more useful than the first effect. So it's pretty bad. Alright, Xyz Territory. Oh, this is reprint, I think. I mean, it is reprints, right? So I assume these are reprints as well. Alright, moving on. Alright. Wait, we've got Vessel as well? We've got Heavenly and Vessel? Isn't this card a search as well? Send on a worm monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add from your deck to your hand one Tenyi monster with a different name from the monster sent to the graveyard. Okay. We've got a lot of searches in this deck, eh? Huh. I wonder how much... The space in this deck list is going to be so goddamn tight. Which one do you even prefer? Do you prefer Dragon Circle or do you prefer Vessel? And the best circle, actually. Heavenly or Vessel? I like them both. I almost like Heavenly more. There's no way we can fit 3 of this, and all the Tenyis, and maybe some back row. There's no shot. That's too much stuff. I mean, maybe we can. $30 Tenyi? I mean, you probably could get away with that. Alright, I guess we move on. These cards are both really good. I'm surprised this one's a normal, and this one being a rare is also kind of surprising. Normally searches for deck lists aren't in the normals and rare sections. It's really odd. Alright, anyway, moving on. 30 card Tenyi to fix the problem. Unironically, I'm pretty sure Tenyi could be played as 30 card, and it would actually be quite good. Because half of these effects are just sending to graveyard anyway. play 6 of these and you have this thing which is also a search. Like, this deck has so much searching power, like, you probably could. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but maybe there's a specific reason you want to. Maybe you don't want to open a certain card or something, I don't know. Anyway, Toon Harpy Lady. Alright, cannot attack the turn it is summoned. It has 1300 attack anyway. If you control Toon World, you can spell summon this card from your hand. Then, if you control another Toon monster, you can destroy one spell or trap card your opponent controls. You only use the effect of this card once per turn. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls blah blah blah, not directly. Okay. The reason you'd play this is because Toon is extremely searchable now. Like, extremely searchable. Like, every turn, you could play it one of, and it's a removal. So, I'd imagine there's a chance you'd play this at 1 to remove certain cards on the field that might be annoying. For example, in a Toon mirror match, you might want to get rid of their Toon field spell, for example. Yeah, that's like the main reason you'd use that. You wouldn't play more than one copy of this because it doesn't synergize with the Dark Magician, which is the main reason you're playing the deck. Because this thing's destroy effect, sadly, is only on its own special summon, I think. You can't use Dark Magician to summon this thing, then it pop a card. I think it has to summon itself. So it doesn't synergize well that way, and that's probably the main way Toon's going to be played. I'd be surprised if it's not. Maybe if you want to play some sort of rank 4 build, but I don't know. The skill locks you out of playing, like, if you want to play the skill, you can't even play, like, extra deck monsters anyway. So you'd probably play one copy of this, maybe, as a searcher. I don't think you'd want to play more than one. Well, as a card you can search for. But yeah. It's definitely not an awful card, but the fact it requires a Toon on field, the fact it requires all this other stuff. I guess, to be fair, because of how your field spell works, where it stops your Toons from being, like, targeted by shit, or being destroyed by shit, it means summoning this thing to pop a back row is a lot better than normal, because normally if you try to summon a monster to target a back row, your opponent will just respond with a back row and remove your monster, and it's like you just kind of traded 1 for 1. Whereas this thing, it might summon, it'll be immune to targeting effects because of your field spell, you pop a card, yeah, you're good to go. So they can't actually target it in response or anything, so I think this thing's actually probably playable at 1, definitely. What are you typing? Thanks, your obelisk. And then you typed a bunch of numbers. What? Okay. Anyway. Toon Briefcase. When your opponent summons a monster, / monsters, while you control a Toon monster, shuffle that monsters into the deck. Banger card. 100% a banger card. You can search for this thing very easily, and in doing so, you just gave yourself a really nice removal. Your opponent pendulum summons, every one of their pendulum monsters gets shuffled. They're all gone. You could play this at 3. That might be a bit of a extreme amount, considering I'm pretty sure this deck list, with the amount of searching you're going to get with it, we'll probably be able to search this guaranteed turn 1 anyway. So you probably only need 1 to 2 of this for your going first play, and then you're good to go. Probably not a 3 of, because I assume how this deck works, you'll be able to search for this. But I'd be shocked if people aren't playing this card. This card's really good. Briefcase 8 with Dissolve Eyes? Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, this card's really good. Again, another card I'm kind of surprised they put in the rare section. This box is kind of a banger, actually, by the start. We've started off with, like, a lot of good cards, and we're only the normal and R sections. Like, these cards are really good. Is it searchable? Yes. I think it's searchable off of the book, which is searchable off of Dark Magician. I think this thing only searches for... Well, actually, we'll go to the next card first, actually. If you control Toon World, reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names in your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, shuffle the rest into your deck. So this card is also really good. It's a quick play. But the downside of your opponent picking a card is kind of annoying. It is kind of annoying. But the fact it special summons is also pretty goddamn great. Especially going second, having access to this card just means that you can actually have an extension through your opponent's stuff. Like, your opponent removes your first monster, you're not doomed. You can use this, get out another one, you know? Especially considering, like, one of the few ways that people deal with the untargetable stuff, if they're unable to deal with your field spell, is they have to use IDP. And it's not likely your opponent has 2 IDP sets. They might remove your first monster with it, and then whatever else you do for the rest of the turn, you're just safe from. So I can see this card being really good. I think I'd want to play this at 3, probably. It just sounds too good going second not to want to play it at 3. Even going first is obviously a good card. You're still summoning something from the deck, but it doesn't particularly help you too much going first, because you're probably going to be summoning Dark Magician by other means. It's mostly the going second stuff I like this card for. Is there 3 2 monsters, by the way, that can attack directly on the turn they're summoned? Or is there only 2? Because I know this guy can. I know Dark Magician Girl can. Is there any that actually have like a decent stat line that can? I'm thinking how much this actually helps with OTKing, because most of the Toons can't attack on the turn they're summoned. It's mostly this one and Dark Magician Girl. And him and Dark Magician Girl. Alright. You might not even play Dark Magician Girl in the deck. I have no idea how this deck will look like. But I'm not sure how. I think I'd want 3 of this. It seems too goddamn good going second. It seems like the main way to play the game going second. Like, even the stat lines of most of the Toon monsters is so goddamn high. Like, if you just reveal, like, this thing, you reveal the, ignore summoning conditions, right? Yeah, so if you just reveal this thing, you reveal the cannon one with the 3 little cannon thingy, and you just reveal, I don't know, this one has a decent stat line. There's so many good ones you can reveal that will just be enough to just destroy your opponent's field anyway. You know, I don't know. I feel like no matter which one your opponent picks, it's probably going to be a good option, so this card seems like a banger. Toon Ancient Gear. Can that one attack on the turn it's summoned? Probably not. This one can't, right? No. 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 Does it need to be something that's actually useful when you summon it immediately? So I'm thinking Barrel, because it can destroy something. This one, because it can attack immediately, or you can use this once per turn banish. Maybe Dark Magician Girl's the 3 you'd normally reveal? Not sure. Because these are the 2 most useful ones, but you have to have 3 with different names. You probably have this card on field already. Actually, you could probably start with you probably just go for, use this thing as like your starting play and just have Dark Magician in the mix. Then your opponent's forced to deal with the Dark Magician, and you can just summon another one anyway if you have the ways to search for it. I don't know. 2 Dark Magicians right there. Yeah, I just assumed Dark Magician's the thing you summoned anyway, like first thing. I don't know, we'll see. This card's obviously really good anyway. You're going to play this at... I assume you play this at 3. I think I'd want to. Alright. Tenyi Spirit Adhara. If you control no effect monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, your hand or graveyard, then target one of your banished worm monsters except this card, add it to your hand. You don't use effect once per turn. Yeah, so this card is... The main reason you use it is because it has the word Tuna written on it. Because this thing in combination with your level 6s is going to be a level 8, and there's some level 6 up... Oh, level 7, sorry, and there's level 7 over here too. So this is literally the, yeah, this is your Tuna monster, so... Even if the effect was hot garbage, you'd still use it because it's your Tuna, so... The Tuna to make a Link Cross. The Hulk card. Stop. Stop. But yeah, you had to play this card, it's the Tuna. Alright. Moving on. Oh yeah, it recycles the Tenyis too, but like I said, it doesn't matter what the effect is, even though the effect is pretty good, the main reason you use it is because it's the fucking Tuna. You have to use it. You're forced to. There's no other Tunas in the Tenyi archetype, as far as I'm aware. So... Alright. Rank up limited Barring Force. Target rank... Okay, so this card I'm going to be disappointed with, because I'm pretty sure I've already read it via the skill earlier. Target one rank for Xyz monster you control. Spell or summon from your deck or extra deck one number C monster that is one rank higher than that monster you control by using it as Xyz material. Yeah. I thought this actually could target other things as well. Maybe the skill only allows that. Yeah, I don't know. This thing's probably pretty bad. There's not really things to there's not really good cards to target with it in Duel Links. Like what C cards do we even have? We've got like, I know there's one coming up. It's like this thing over here, wherever it is, this dude, which we can talk about in a bit. That's probably like it. Utopia. I don't think Ray's very good. This thing's pretty bad. We can already summon this if we want it. That's like it. Any exceeds me on a chaos number, but there's the problem is there isn't really any good ones. There just really isn't. They're all just really. We've got the one coming up, which we'll talk about later, which is okay. Then look at the rest of the pool. The rest of the pool is like, don't care. This one is really pretty meh. This one's meh. This one you've already got it's not a rank 4 for starters, and it's also a easily summoned if you want another deck anyway, and still not played, so. I don't think you can summon Leo Utopia, right? Can you? This thing isn't a C. It does? Why? Does it have it written on it? Oh, it does have it written on it. Oh, okay. Well, this card's actually decent, so. Alright, that gives you a use for it then. If you want to play a Utopia deck. Kind of leaves the skills that are making this thing easier to summon a bit more relevant, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, right, I can see this being in a Utopia deck then. But I think that is probably the only place you'd ever see it. A deck focused around this dude. Because I think the rest is pretty garbage. Even this card is okay, but it's nothing too insane. Searchable via the Raid Raptor skill. Can we play Utopia with the Raid Raptor skill? Is that the play here? Okay, well, you play it with Utopia then. I still don't expect too much from this deck list, just based on the fact that this card, even with a bunch of skills that made this thing really like easily summoned and have the equips to it, the deck still is pretty shitty. So I don't expect too much from this card, but it's probably all right. Anyways, moving on. Gentle Manda. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can spell summon this card from your hand. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack any monsters except this one. Oh, thank God. I thought the rest of this card was going to say for the rest of this turn or something. You cannot, like, attack for the rest of the turn. Alright, so this thing's just basically a Karibo. I thought we'll see another, I was beginning to see the Kite-Roid coming out. I was like, no, please, not another Kite-Roid. Please, I've had enough. But no, it's not good. What a gentleman, true. Yeah, it's basically just a Karibo. It's not great. Well, more of a sphere Karibo, but still, it's not great. I won't take this Utopia slander. Alright, flawless perfection of the Tenyi. So, from okay, all non-effect monsters on the field are unaffected by monster effects. Not bad, not bad. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons an effect monster, while you control a face down monster or non-effect monster, you can draw 2 cards. Alright, do we play this? So, I don't think this is searchable by any means, if I'm right, because I don't think any of these searches Tenyi cards. So it's not searchable. Or is it searchable? What do you search this with? The quick play can search it from grave. Oh, it can too. Okay, so it's searchable then. That makes it a lot better. Because I really don't want to play 3 of this thing. Like, I really don't want to play 3 of this thing. Because like I said before, as much as Tenyis do like the non-effect monsters, winning the game off pure non-effect monster is really hard, and you're most likely, I'd be surprised if you don't, are going for Draco Berserker turn 1. Which this thing is like... This thing doesn't really... Like, it doesn't protect your Draco Berserker. It does give you 2 draws though, that is true. It does give you 2 draws. Which is really good, especially in Duel Links. But I do not think I want this at like 3 or something. I think if you're playing this card, you'd play this card as well as a 1-of just to search for it. Because if you've already got like a really good setup of your Tenyi stuff anyway, you might as well just search for this thing anyway. You can't use both effects in the same turn. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You're never going for Draco Berserker? I feel like this deck should be Draco Berserker in turn 1. Oh, I don't know. How valuable is being unaffected by monster effect anyway? So much back row in this game. It's mostly just the fact that this thing draws, I guess.
Shut up, Mokuba.
I can't wait for a couple weeks of Gaga Sister has another effect. Yippee.
Gaga Sister? Nah. I don't know if I want to play this card. I really don't. I don't know. I had to wait and see on that one. I had to do some actual testing with it to see if I want to run it or not. I'm not super keen on it. Alright, Chimera. I thought this thing was Chimera Chad. I thought this was DCW Chimera Chad. You can target one number C39 monster you control. Equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. At the end of damage set, when the equipped monster attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by the battle, you can make the opponent's monster attack 0. Okay. And if you do, the equipped monster can make a second attack in a row. So does this actually have like an actual use for it? What are we summoning? What are we using this for? Actually, I can't think of any like specific like number monsters that reduce or like are aiming to swing in to a monster where they've already got lower. It's like it's swinging into a monster similar to like the Lunar Light works, where it swings into the monster and doesn't kill it. Because this thing has to specifically not kill the monster it's swinging into. Because I feel like most swing in and kill, right? Like, I don't think we're going to try to swing into a monster that has higher attack, and that sounds kind of eh. Ray? Doesn't Ray just lethal? Yeah, the thing just kills the monster, right? Oh, we're talking about the new one. This thing kills as well. I think none of these like just don't kill the monster like the Lunar Lights do. I think it's just bad. So moving on. All right, a new dual avatar card. Okay. Target one dual avatar monster you control. Destroy it, and if you spell summon one dual avatar monster from your deck or extra deck, whose original level is 1 higher or 1 lower than that monster had on the field. Or extra deck. That's interesting. Do they have conditions on them? Like, can I just summon this thing out? That sounds really weird. Okay. During your main phase, except return this card percent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one dual avatar monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, so second effect isn't that bad either, but You can't use them the same turn. One level higher. So what levels are... This one's level 7. Eight, 6, 6. I mean, you can't rank up these guys, so I guess you're ranking up these ones, I guess. Probably a bit of a stretch, this one. I'm not sure how this thing would really work too well with how the deck does. Because surely we can set up the dual avatar thing with this thing anyway. I guess we'll talk about this card since it's literally right here. The first time each dual avatar fusion monster you control be destroyed battle each turn, it is not destroyed. Once per turn during your main phase, you can return all spell and trap cards your opponent controls to the hand. When a monster effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, whilst you control 2 or more fusion monsters, quick effect, you can destroy that monster. You can use this effect once per turn. So this card is really cool in regards to it can be played with actually how's it? It needs 2 dual avatar monsters plus specifically feet. Is it Ultra and Master Duel, really? The 3 materials is kind of sketch. I'll be real. It's definitely a good card, but 3 materials is very sketch. Maybe you summon off of Ascendance and hope. It's a pretty sick card, but it seems kind of hard to infuse it using the tokens. Which one's the feet dude? See this one? Oh, he's the other one? Man, it's not even the good one, it's the other one. I mean, at least it doesn't require the, its second effect doesn't require it to be specifically a dual avatar fusion monster, so you can play this as a tech in other dual avatar, in other fusion archetypes. Censor the feet before YouTube? Good idea. Good plan. Your opponent's face up dual avatar monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect? Ugh. You can use the new trap to pull a face up, dual avatar summon from your extra deck, then spirit summon feet from your hand using its effect to cheat out the fusion you want. I'm not super keen on this archetype as a whole. I'm not sure about this one. I think we have to maybe wait and see on this one. I'm not super keen on it though. Alright, Draco Masters of the Tenyi. 2 monsters including a link monster. Cannot be destroyed battle with an effect monster. Already a rather annoying effect. If you control no effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. Yeah, this card's pretty good. This card's pretty good. You can summon this thing and just nuke a field with it. Very convincingly nuke a field with it. Because there's no like limitations on the amount of Link 1s you can summon, so you just summon your Link 1 a bunch of times, summon this thing, nuke a field. So yeah, you gotta play this card. How many you play? Probably 1. Depends on how non-effect monster focused you are and how many synchros you're playing, that kind of thing. But you definitely play this card. It's too good not to play. It's just a nuker. And a reminder, it's also a rare card too. The amount of rares that are so goddamn good is just a shock. It's actually such a shock. There's so many good rares in this box. Like, the fact that we're talking so long about this card's also a sign just like, why the fuck is this thing a rare? It's so weird. It's like the deck's main, like, one of the dual avatar's boss monster or something. It's a rare? You know? Weird ass box. Alright, speaking of more Tenyi cards, we've got Berserker of the Tenyi with a very insane effect this one. 2 monsters, including a Link monster. Yeah, that's it. That's your card. 3000 attack, Link 3. Non-effect monster. Are we playing this thing? Probably. The deck likes to have non-effect monsters. But yeah, it's probably a one-off. Unless you're a super non-effect monster focused, I'd be surprised if you play more than one of this. There's also a chance if the deck turns out you don't really care that much about playing, if you're not as focused around non-effect monsters, you might actually not play this thing at all. Like obviously, you're playing the field spell, you'd want to play something like this. But if you're focusing on a build that's more Berserker focused, that just ends on like the Link 1 as your non-effect monster, and you're just using the Tenyi as more of an engine, you might not even need this card. You might just not even bother running it. I can see a world where you don't care about this card. Like, you probably play it, but I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if people don't end up playing this. It is kind of weird to play like a Link 3 specifically, because that's 3 resources for an effect that doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't have an effect. Like, I think I'd prefer to go into this thing like every single time. So yeah, I won't be surprised if no one plays this. Alright, moving on. Unmasked Dragon. When this card's tried battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Worm-type monster. Now, here's the rares I was expecting. Okay, we're in the reprints now, never mind. Okay, never mind, moving on. I was like, these are the rares I'm expecting. These fucking hot garbage cards. Alright. Alright, moving on. The Salamander. We get this via a skill as well, right? I thought. When this card is normal summon, you can target one Utopia monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. You can target one number C39 Utopia Ray V you control. Equip this monster you control to that target. Okay. Once per turn, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can attach one Xyz material from the equipped monster, negate the equipped monster's effects, and if you do, destroy all monsters your opponent currently controls, and if you do that, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed, so probably 500 damage. Okay, so this card, it's probably the SR I'm least want from the box, I imagine. This card seems very... Okay, I mean, it's not awful, because it's going to be summoning stuff from grave, and you just sort of... Xyz summon off of the thing you summon back, I guess. But the board nuke is pretty irrelevant. I think if you're able to set up like your big Utopia board anyway, you probably don't need the board nuke to kill your opponent. So you probably don't care much about this card, I imagine. Like, if there was a skill that put a Utopia monster in the graveyard at the start, so you can turn it into some sort of, like, one-card starter thing, that'd be kind of sick, but... Read the skill. Does the skill give you a Utopia in grave or something? Let's go find this skill. Oh, this one. You activate the below effects once per turn each. During this duel, you can only special summon Utopia monsters and monsters with level or rank of 4. Okay. Reveal one Salamander in your hand. Add one number 39 Utopia outside your deck to the graveyard. Okay, that makes it a lot better. Return up to 2 cards to the deck from your hand or monster zone. If there are no monsters on the field, you can normal summon one of these Salamander in addition to your normal summon or set this turn. Okay. That's a bit of a cost returning 2 cards, but anyway. If you control number 39 Utopia, set one rank up magic, limited blah 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 from your deck or graveyard to the field. Okay. This skill seems pretty good. This seems pretty good, and it gives you a reason to actually play this card. Alright, well, I guess I do want this card then. Sure, I guess I do want this card. Didn't care about it, but the, where is it? I've already lost it. But yeah, if you need it for this skill, which seems pretty goddamn good, I guess I'm playing it. Is this card searchable though? Can we actually grab this thing by any means? The Salamander? How do you even search for it? Because I'm just playing a pretty dead skill without it. I guess you just use the third part. You just use the third part and just go for a normal Utopia play if you don't open it. Can't play sister? Feels bad, man. It's unsearchable? Ah, okay. That definitely makes the skill a little bit worse, but I assume we can just sort of get away with playing like a, You're just using the third part of this skill. I'll probably give this a go. I think it's probably playable. Yeah, it seems pretty good. But yeah, you definitely need 3 of this card then for it if you want to try to go for that line. You can't play with your sister. Feels bad, man. Yeah, that's a feels bad right there. I hate when you can't play with your sister. Alright, moving on. Toon Black Luster Soldier. Okay. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be first spare or summoned from your hand by tributing 2 monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more. So that first part of that effect, we can basically completely ignore, because you can just summon this off of Dark Magician without worrying about its effect. You can summon off this spell card without worrying about that effect. So the first part of this, I'll be very surprised if anyone ever actually wants to tribute off their 2 monsters to do this. You're just going to do it via Dark Magician, or you're going to summon it via this card. I think this is a hard one of sort of a card. Wait, is Dark Magician summoned from deck or hand? It's from deck, right? I'm pretty sure it's from deck. My god. It is from deck, right? It's from deck. Unless you want to play the Red Eyes one, which is summoned from hand. So unless you're playing if you're playing Red Eyes, instead you might want to use it, but I think you're probably more than likely going to play this at 1 and just try to get a whole Dark Magician as quickly as possible most of your games. You play both? Maybe. Maybe. I don't want to have some room for text in this deck, so we'll see if we can fit Red Eyes as well. It's I'm definitely more gonna be focused on Dark Magician if you can. I think. But I guess Dark Magician requires like a discard, right? No, it doesn't. Wait. It does require a discard. Maybe you focus more on Toon, Red Eyes. You could probably play this at 1, because again, all this stuff is searchable, so you probably could play it at 1. Did you see the new Toon skill? I guess we can go through that while we're here, but it gives you an extra normal summon, and it gives you the Toon thing, right? During this duel, you can normal summon set 2 monsters without tributing. You can only normal summon or special summon monsters that have 0 attack. Okay. Monsters that your opponent is original owner of, or Toon monsters. Very important, that second part, because it allows you to use IDP. Also, you can activate the following effects once per turn and twice per duel. Return 1 card from your hand to the deck. Add 1 Toon World to your hand from outside of your deck. Alright. So this thing gives you a Toon World if you want it. Which is also pretty useful, by the way, because if you opened a certain... Let's say you're playing the Dark Magician strat and you're going for Dark Magician, and you just set up your field, your turn gets passed back to you after you've gone through your opponent's turn, and you need a Toon card to discard. This thing your skill can actually give you a Toon World. So you can use your skill to get a card to discard for Toon Dark Magician. It's not quite a free Toon World, because it does require you to shuffle a card back into the deck, right? So it's not quite a free Toon World. But hopefully you won't need a Toon World as much anyway. Because this thing doesn't destroy itself without a Toon World on field, right? Like, you don't even need the Toon World, because you're probably going to use something like Dark Magician or one of your other searches to get a hold of the actual Toon World card, the good one. So you probably don't actually need Toon World on field. Like, you don't need the second part of the skill. Yeah, Kingdom. You're probably going to grab Kingdom more often than not. Yeah, obviously, how was I even at? Oh, you actually haven't read the rest of this card. Okay. Alright, while you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack directly. Once per turn, if you control Toon World, you can target one card on the field and banish it. Also, this card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. So yeah, you're probably going to have Toon Kingdom more often on the field. Most of the time, if your opponent doesn't out it, it's going to be really hard. Seems bad. I don't think this thing is bad. This thing's one of the few Toons that can attack on the turn it's summoned. So this is like a 3,000 attack monster that can actually attack. And can also attack directly, by the way. So this thing will lead to a lot of lethals if you play it. And of course, it's a banish if you need to get rid of something problematic. Yeah, nothing bad about this card. I'll be surprised if you don't play it. I'm definitely playing it at least one. This is a great summoner from Dark Magician. You don't want to play multiple or heaps of it, because obviously you don't want to use the first effect ever, and you can't normal summon it, even though the skill lets you normal summon things. Because it doesn't let you normal summon. But you can cheat it out super easily. You cheat it out via your Dark Magician, you cheat it out via your Red Eyes, you cheat it out via your Toon Page Flip, so... Good card. Alright, Toon Bookmark. Add one Toon World or card that specifically lists that card, Toon World, and its text from your deck to your hand. I didn't even realize we were getting this. If a Toon World you control will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Oh boy, I didn't even realize that part existed either. Oh. Like, this card is really gross. Holy, this card is gross. Alright, let's read, for the few people that actually haven't been playing Duel Links for that long, let's read Kingdom for the boys. Alright, here you go. Toon Kingdom. When this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while it's face up on the field. Your opponent cannot target Toon monster you control with card effects. If a Toon monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down. So your Toons cannot be destroyed by battle, and your Toons are untargetable. And thanks to this thing, your Toon World is now protected from being destroyed. So your opponent generally needs Cosmic Cyclone, or they're going to be really mad. Yeah, Bookmark is really good. Really good. This is a definite 64 of in every deck list if you can put them in there. I'm playing as many of this damn thing as I can possibly stuff in my deck. God damn. This thing is sick. Yeah, this card's crazy. Actually crazy. This card alone has probably forced so many people. Like, people probably saw that the Orcust meta was sort of shifting away and Dingirsu was sort of going away. Like, finally, I can stop paying 1,000 life points. I can whip out my MST finally. And then this card got introduced. Like, fuck. Alright, back to Cosmic again, boys. Yeah, if they Cosmic the Kingdom, you can just play the skill to get Toon. You get the another Toon World, and this thing is literally lethal damage. 3,000 to the face. Yeah, good discard off Dark Magician too, so it means if you open 2 of this, it's not too bad. Why should you need that many bookmarks for? That's, you know, that's true. Why would you need 3 bookmarks for 1 book? What is that about? How good? Toon seem looking really good after this. They've got a searchable, actually sick trap guard. They've got untargetable monsters, so they force your opponent to have like specifically IDP in most scenarios. Toon's actually seem really goddamn good. Does Toon King protect from? It protects from general destruction too, right? Yeah, card effect. Yeah. Yeah, Toon's looking pretty good. I'm liking the look of Toons. This deck might be annoying. The mirror matches are going to be so fucking dumb for this deck though, because the Toons can't attack directly if there's another Toon on the field. It'd just be so dumb. At least this thing can get rid of the field spell because it banishes. Alright, moving on. Enough silly business. Moving on to Vishuda. Another banger card, by the way. If you control no effect monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls, return it to hand. See, this card is instantly you summon it, make your link 1, and then you can remove something your opponent has on the field. So this card is really annoying to play against, because if you're playing something like, say you're playing like Speedroid or something, you've just summoned your, or nerfed Speedroid, so you're probably just ending on your 1 negate dude, your 1 big negate guy. This thing is going to force out that negate, like, 100% of the time. This card is hella annoying. It's so annoying. It's 1 card, not 1 monster, yeah. It is so annoying. It forces out any boss monster your opponent has, just off of a special summon, by the way. So this doesn't, like, it's literally a special summon. You just do this thing at the start of your turn, go into your link 1, your opponent has to do something about it, otherwise they're going to lose whatever they've got on the field. So it forces out shit just immediately. It is so goddamn good. I'm surprised you're even getting this card. This card is really strong. Like, it actually forces most... If this thing became, like, a meta strategy, it forces most decks to have to end on, like... Definitely end on things that are not just 1 monster for removal. Like, Destiny Heroes, generally, the end board is, like, a bunch of trap cards and their 1 fusion. Well, like, their 1 fusion is probably not going to last long with Vishuda in the game. So you have to rely on back row to survive. I don't know what other top tier decks are. I don't know. It's nutty. Take my gems. Trick stars are dead, are they? I don't think this card particularly is the Trick Star killer. These cards are really good. Alright. Is DD Crow good against Tenyi? I think this isn't a quick effect, so yeah, sure. If you want to crow it. Alright, moving on. So we're on to the next one. Shaman of the Tenyi. 2 worm monsters. You can discard 1 card to target 1 worm monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, the rest of this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summon from the extra deck, except Tenyi monsters. When attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. Alright, so this card, it allows you to go into your link 3 really easily, obviously, because you can just bring back a worm card, go into your link 3. It also allows you to bring back the link 1, and then just use the link 1 to remove a monster, if you want to do it that way. But do keep in mind this thing does actually lock you to worms, but that doesn't really matter if you're playing a pure Tenyi. So you're definitely playing this card, because it can go into link 3 really easily. This is literally a 2 monster combo, right? You get like... it's even a 1 card combo from this thing, right? Because you just use 1 card and 1 discard. This thing, bring the thing out from deck, go to your link 2, discard, link 3, pop stuff. Revive your boss as well, yeah, sure. Yeah, good ass card, you're gonna play it, 100%. Wonder how good Tenyis are actually gonna be in Duel Links. They seem really good. The thing that I like the most about Tenyis that gives me hope for them being good in Duel Links is just the fact that they can play through things. Like, unless your opponent's playing things like Book of... it doesn't even work. Like, if you have a face-down monster, right, that still counts as you having no effect monsters, right? So if your opponent Book of Moon's your monster, you can still special summon Tenyis. That's how that works, right? Am I wrong on that? Yeah, you can. Yeah, it makes it so goddamn hard for the for people to stop you just playing through shit. It's also, if you're really not that great at the game, like, I don't want to bully people on the ladder, but there are a lot of not too intelligent people out there. And a lot of people don't bother what to read. So when you play your Tenyi stuff, a lot of people are just gonna be like, I guess we'll just stop the first monster you summon. They get rid of the link 1 or something, or they get rid of like the shooter, they like banish this or return it to hand or something, compulse it, and you're just like, oh, I'll just summon again. Like, you just summon another one. Like, it's like there's no You know, the deck has like so many, the deck can just extend so much, so easily. And in combination with things like this, which is dodge back row as well, it just becomes such a hard deck to stop your opponent playing through your shit. Compulse stonks are crashing. Actually, IDP stonks are going through the fucking roof. Although, can you even play, IDP isn't even that great in this deck list in particular, because it locks you to worms, right? But I guess you're not generally using IDP during your own turn, so it doesn't really matter. And there isn't even that many cards that lock you to worms, right? It's mostly the, actually they all do, but it doesn't matter too much. Actually, would you want to play Compulse in this? Because you are locked to worms a lot of the time, right? But it is only during your opponent's turn you really care about IDP. I don't even know. Yeah, I think this deck list probably has the highest potential out of all the new stuff to be meta relevant. It just seems too goddamn good at playing through shit to be at least not top tier. Like, whether or not it becomes, like, the best deck in the game, that's like, maybe not. But it doesn't even matter if it's not the best deck. It'll probably be top tier. It's just too easily plays through shit, I think. Especially with Berserker being added. It gives it, like, a good turn one. Like, going second, if you're ever able to actually go into this card, you're just going to be nuking shit and potentially lethaling. I don't know. Seems pretty good. Alright, moving on. We have number C106, Giant Red Hand. If this card has a number monster as an Xyz material, gains this effect. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated on the field, detach one material from this card. If you do, negate the effects of all face-up cards currently on the field until the end of this turn. So this card's a good target, obviously, off of the new rank up card. This is a pretty ideal going first card because it can negate anything. But judging by how this skill works, the new skill, you're probably going to be going for the Utopia stuff. And this also, I think, locks you out of even summoning this new thing, right? Yeah, I don't see a real reason a real deck you'd play this in, because I think you're probably going to be on... Wait, it's mandatory to negate? Oh god, is that mandatory? Ugh. God. No, stop, go away. Okay, moving on. Moving the hell on. No thank you. Jesus, that is... Alright. Monk of the Tenyi. Okay. Now this card's a banger, okay. One non-linked Tenyi monster. Oh my god, there it is. I really wish with these non-effect monsters, they'd actually just give them the normal monster flavor text, you know? I miss being able to read flavor text. Where is my flavor text for this card, huh? Come on. Yeah, so this one you want 3 of in your deck list. Literally, you want 3 of it, despite it being a link one with no effect. Like, you want 3 of this thing. I'd be surprised if you play 2 of it, because, like, you want your Tennies in the graveyard a lot of the time, and the more of these you summon, the more things you can pop from your Draco. Actually, it's not different names, right? Yeah, it's not even different names, so you probably actually want 3 of this. The thing is really good. You create your own flavor text. Do I look creative? Do I look like I'm a creative person? Flavor text amongst the solo mode of Master Duel? True. What a guy. Flavor text, he is the monk of the Tenyi. Shit. Really? Yeah, this card's really good. Alright, moving on. Comic Hand. Look at this, monk. When you typed that, I immediately read it like the fucking Nickelback song to look at this graph. I'm like, look at this, monk. Whatever, moving on. Alright, people don't know that meme. I'm just gonna sound like a complete lunatic, so let's just move on. Comic Hand. If you control Toon World, equipped to an opponent's monster, take control of it. It is treated as a Toon monster. If your opponent controls no Toon monsters, you can attack your opponent directly. If Toon World is not on the field, destroy this card. So this card doesn't have Toon in the name, but has Toon World in the effect, which is enough for it to be searchable off of Toon Bookmark. This photograph. Do I play this card? Do we have the space for this thing? This card seems like a very easy OTK sort of a card, you know? It's very tempting. But it's only good going second. I'm not playing it at 3, but you might play it as 1 because it's searchable. A lot of searchable things makes it definitely playable. Just depends on how much room we've got. What sort of stuff we're playing. Like, it might be overkill to even need this thing. If it's used in Master Duel. Toons aren't even used in Master Duel at all, so it's not a good side. At that point, we wouldn't play any of the cards in the deck list, because Toons just aren't played in Master Duel. I don't know, I'm pretty torn on this card. I do like it a lot, but it's an only going second card, and I think Toons, might be overkill. Like, Toons, the playstyle that Toons might end up being is they have you have a bunch of strong monsters on the field, you have your dumb trap card, and you have your field spell that just protects your stuff, and then you just stop your opponent playing the game. And even going second, just having that thing on the field that just protects your cards might already be enough to just sort of win you the game without stealing shit. So it might be worth just to make your deck more consistent than playing more power cards. This card is searchable, so you probably want it at 1. I don't know, we'll see. It also depends on how often you want to actually, like, how often you need to use Bookmark to search your Toon World or search for your Toon Dark Magician. Because if you want to specifically set up the same board every time, you might not even like have room for this kind of thing. It's a Crusadia card. I don't know, I'm not sure about this card. At most, I'd play it at 1, if not at all, but it does seem like a pretty good card. We'll have to wait and see. And how the Toon deck turns out. Alright, Castel, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. Alright, oh my god, is this a magical musket card? You can attach one material from this card, then target one face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. You can attach 2 materials from this card, then target one face-up card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. You can use 1 castle effect per turn, only once that turn. So officially, your boy, Malicious Spider is no longer existing. You'll no longer need your spider. This guy is better than that card, right? Too late? You think it's too late? I think people are still playing your little spider, right? It's probably pretty common. This card is just better. How often is this card played? 57%, 92%, Gimmick Puppet's playing it. It's pretty common card still, and this card is just better. Unicorn's better? I mean, not in a rank 4 deck, because that requires 3, and this thing's just 2 monsters. In a rank 4 deck, you're probably going to play this thing. What's the deal? Is this a magical musket card? I mean, it has Musketeer in the name. I mean, what else could it be? Check top? Huh? Yeah, you're asking for what? What are you asking for? Rockets. Oh yeah, because this thing's what's this thing? A wind, and rockets locked into like dark and stuff. All right, so okay. If you're locked into only dark, sure. Yeah, this card replaces the spider in a lot of situations. You probably play this in Utopia and stuff. It's just a good rank 4. So it's still like playable in Harpy. It's a winged beast, Pog. Wait, this thing's a Harpy card. Goddamn, new Harpy support. Now we've got 2 new Harpy support cards. Okay. Castle needs face up. I mean, I think that's too much of a problem. I think I'm not going to play this spider over this card because it requires a face up. I think flip monsters aren't that common in the game anymore, okay? I think we prefer to have this thing over that one, in my opinion. I think I'd prefer this card, personally. I was thinking this thing does technically have less attack as well. Alright, moving on. Maybe just play both of them. Just play both of the cards, okay? Moving on. Black Luster Soldier, Legendary Swordsman. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form or Super Soldier Ritual. Alright, so actually, I think we'll read the skill first, actually. Just to show you the kind of shit we're getting into. So, the Soul of Light and Darkness. At the beginning of the duel, add the Soul of Light and add the Soul of Light and Darkness and one Super Soldier Ritual to your graveyard. During this duel, you can only special summon Guy the Fierce Knight monsters, Black Luster Soldier monsters, and monsters without a rank or a level. Once per turn, you can activate the following effects when you special summon a Black Luster Soldier monster. Add one Black Luster Soldier Ritual monster when there are no cards with the same name in your graveyard and field, and add it from your deck to your hand. This skill is overly complex and large. Then select up to 3 banished cards of yours and then return them into the graveyard. After so, for once per duel only, if there's a Black Luster Soldier on the field, you can set one ritual spell card from your deck to your field. My god, this is the most complex skill I've ever read in the game. And it's goddamn good. So if my understanding is, the card you're putting in the graveyard, which I wish they had like, I had a way to like scroll over it. If I click on the skill, does it show me the card? Nope. Great, so I have to find it myself. Actually put in my own work. Come on, man. The Soul of Light and Darkness gives you a search, right? What? Huh? Huh? It's not a card? Did I put that in front of it? No. Wait, am I a dumbass? Go to leaks. Alright, hang on, go to leaks. Go to leaks. Hang on. Wait, that didn't help. Hang on, going for more leaks. You've got the. I need to put the for it to work? Bro, really? It can't. The search feature requires the. What? Huh? No, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. Let's go to fucking leaks. I don't care anymore. Alright, where's the stupid skill? Alright, here it is. Alright. Where is it? This one up here? Here it is. Okay. Wait, that doesn't even help. What? Does this card not exist? What is this card? Why can't I find it? Am I brain damaged? Huh? Bro, what? Wait. Am I brain damaged here? It's not a card. Wait, what is this thing? Add the Soul of Light and Darkness and one Super Soldier Ritual to your graveyard. What are they adding? What? Wait, it doesn't exist? You added action. Yeah, what, the skill just like takes the soul out of your body and chucks it in the graveyard? Like, what are we adding here? It's a bunch of cards? What does this mean? What? How the fuck? Like, the skill wasn't more complicated enough. How do I decipher what the fuck this thing does? Bro, what? I'm fucking losing it. I'm fucking losing it. Alright, so apparently, this Reddit comment says, these are the monsters being added by the skill from the previous league. There's no way it's adding all of these, is it? Is it actually adding Dark Magician, Gaia, Charging Gaia, Mystical Elf, Karibo, and Sphere Karibo to your graveyard? Is that what it's doing? Yes, is it actually? What the fuck? Alright, so it's putting... Okay. So the skill apparently just puts Dark Magician, Arisen Gaia, Charging Gaia, Mystical Elf, Karibo, and Sphere Karibo into your graveyard. Okay. And then it puts a Super Soldier Ritual in your graveyard. What is this dumb skill? Okay, during the main phase, this card can be used to ritual summon any Black Luster Soldier ritual monster. You must alternate monsters from your hand or field, blah, blah, blah. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, one light monster and one dark monster from your graveyard. Spin or summon a Black Luster ritual monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Okay. There you go. So it puts the entire your entire arsenal of monsters in the graveyard. You can banish a dark and a light, and in doing so, gets to spin or summon a Black Luster Soldier from hand. Alright, then what does the rest of the skill do? Alright, so we've got to that point. Okay, once per turn, you can activate the following effects when you spin or summon a Black Cluster Soldier monster, which you can do via the skill. We've discovered, okay? We've reached that point. Add one Black Cluster Soldier ritual monster when there are no cards with the same name in your graveyard and field, and add it from your deck to your hand. Okay, so you need multiple versions of Black Cluster Soldier in this deck. So we've got the new one. Where is it? We've got this one. We've got... How many Black Cluster rituals is there actually in the game? There's Super Soldier, this one, on the base, right? Okay. Okay. So you start off by summoning out... Oh, it's actually... It doesn't need to be ritual, right? Wait, does this thing summon out... Oh, it does need to be ritual. Okay, so it does need to be ritual. Okay. Then select up to 3 banished cards of yours and return them to the graveyard. Okay. After so, for once per duel only, if there's a Black Luster Soldier on your field. Okay, so it has to be the default one, right? Because these aren't treated as Black Luster Soldiers, like the base. So you actually it has to be the default one. Okay, so one of them has to be the default one. Sure. On the field, you can set one ritual spell card from your deck to your graveyard. Also to your field. Okay, so the skill basically lets you ritual summon twice, is what we're getting to. Jesus Christ. Okay, so after all that, we've deciphered the skill lets you ritual summon twice. This dude and probably the normal Black Luster Soldier. Do you play this one as well, the other one? The third BLS? You probably play it for a different name for future turns, right? Because this thing was, there's no restriction on the amount of times you can use this, right? Yes, I guess you just play the other one, I guess. Sounds like you're solving a Millennium puzzle, Trey. Alright. Let's finally read this card. Okay, so we've deciphered what the skill does at least. That is something. Okay, you can ritual summon this card with Chaos Form or Super Soldier Ritual. Must be ritual summoned. Okay. During your draw phase before you draw, you can reveal this card in your hand, give up your normal draw this turn, and if you do, add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Can you ritual summon 3 times with this deck? Oh my god. I guess not too, but yeah, I guess that's during draw phase, so it doesn't really matter too much. Wait, does that work on... there's a draw phase for turn 1, right? Oh, no, you don't draw on your first turn. There's no draw phase. Very good going second, though. Anyway. Your opponent cannot activate effect cards or effects during your battle phase. When this attacking card that was ritual summoned using a normal monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can shuffle all cards they control into the deck. Right, and I think we got a normal monster via the skill, right? I've already closed it. I think Dark Magician was in there, so... Jesus, search any ritual spell. True. Alright, well, my brain's already exploded from reading all these card effects, but from what I've gathered, we're summoning multiple Black Luster Soldier. I guess to be fair, the only way they could possibly make Black Luster Soldier not suck is by giving it a skill with like 6 million effects and stuffing your graveyard with 6 trillion cards. Yeah, I can see this deck being good. Just summoning 2 ritual monsters, regardless of what their effects are, especially if we're going to be using the ones that grant effects, the little dudes, wherever they are, these dudes. Is this guy? And one of these grants like banishing effects and shit. It's these two, right? Yeah, you can gain a lot of resources from it. It seems like a Giga OTK going second card. I don't really know what you're going to do going first with BLS though. Does the deck even have like a quick play in it? Like, what does this deck do going first? Like, I think this thing's not searchable or anything, right? Like, what does it do going first? Does it do anything? Back row pass. I saw a couple of people talking about hand looping because the fucking so this guy. Yeah, this thing's a hand looper, so you can hand loop at least once. Then there's the actual other BLSs, I'm like retyping Black Luster Soldier. There's this dumbass. Hand loops again. There's 2 hand loops. I don't know. I'm not sure what this deck does going first, but going second sounds insane. Also, since the skill doesn't seem to be like actually once per turn or anything, you can probably quite easily reuse it multiple times. I don't know, we'll see. This deck seems too complicated for my small brain. I'll wait till someone else builds it, then copy, I think. I'll focus on building the Ooga Booga Toon deck, which is a lot easier to build. Alright, Tenyi Ashuna. If you control no effect monsters, you can spell summon this card from your hand. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. Spell summon one Tenyi monster from your deck, except Tenyi Spirit. Also, you cannot spell summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except worm monsters. You can only use each effect of Tenyi Spirit Ashuna once per turn. Yes, this card is 100% a 3-of in your Tenyi deck. It's really goddamn good. It's the thing you can summon to the field and then summon another card from your deck to the field. Like, it's just too good. Yeah. This thing gives you your tuner monster, it gives you your Vishuda. It's just a really good card. It's a 3-of, and unfortunately it is an ultra rare, but you need 3 of it. You want 3 of this card. It's too goddamn good. It's a 1-card. It's like an insane one. It's already like a 1-card combo by itself. You summon this thing, you go to your Link 1, you use this thing's effect to bring a Tenyi from deck list, go to your Link 2, Link 2 discards, brings out a Tenyi, summon out this dude, pop stuff on the field. Like it's literally a 1-card combo for your Link 3 if you want to. Plus, it's a 1-card combo for your Link 3 that also brings out a Vishuda for removal as well. So this card by itself is a... It's a 1-card Link 3 that pops 2. Or removes 2. 1 bounce, 1 destroy. You can run 2 because you have a 20-card deck. You could probably get away with 2, especially considering all the searches, but I don't see why you'd want to run 2. Like, I don't see like a reason why you'd want to. Because this card you want to open. If you open this thing, your deck does what it wants to do. And then you can search for other things. I don't see why you'd want to run 2. I played Budget Tenyi. Well, Budget Tenyi probably isn't that bad either, because you just get like 3 of this card, 3 of this card, and you can play like 2 of this, like the guy said in chat, and you're fine, because you can just search for it if you want to. But I just don't see why you'd want to play 2 of this. It's just like the best card in your deck, so... Can you play it with Yangsing? Probably, but unless you want to play a 30-card deck, I don't see why you'd probably want to. I think the deck probably does enough on its own. You have Draco Berserker turn 1, and going second you have just infinite extender into whatever sort of removal you like. The thing with this deck is also, I think it has plenty of room for techs. I think it's going to be a bit of a choice as to how many of these cards you run, and then you just play a bunch of techs with it. So your turn 1's probably going to be Draco Berserker with like a couple of back row or 1 back row. And then you just play these cards and whatever else going second and just blah, blah, blah over your opponent. It seems like a pretty good deck. Mian Curry plus Carter Soul as an extra search too. Thank you for telling me that. I really that sounds so useful actually. Thank you. Alright, moving on. Final card in the box, and unfortunately, it's not that pog as far as I remember. 3 level 5 monsters, so you generally want to rank this up via whatever rank up spell card, because you don't want to actually do 3 level 5 monsters. When this card in its own possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you can target one Xyz monster in your graveyard, return that target to the extra deck, and if this card is a Utopia monster as an Xyz material, it gains this effect. Once per turn, you can attach one Xyz material from this card to target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field. Yeah, this card is it's probably halved too. If this is halved, that'd be very, very tragic. Yeah, I saw the Utopia skill. But you don't want to go for this Utopia, right? You can go for Ray. You can summon Ray. I don't know why you wouldn't why you'd ever summon this over Ray. It is halved? Yeah, I don't see why you'd ever summon this thing. I'd be surprised if you even ran this in your deck. Like no joke, I think this card is... It is not a card. Yeah, it's actually... No, unironically, I think actually Volcanosaurus can't attack, but here you go. Boom. Oh, so you can't attack directly, you can actually still attack. Yeah, this thing is, nah. You 99% of the time you're gonna summon the other dude. Because even, like, the other dude just gives you so much stats and shit anyway of things you yoink from your deck. Like, the only reason you'd ever summon this is if you just happen to know you have OTK on field. And at that point, if your opponent's field is that shit, where this is your target of summon, you probably won the duel anyway, just by going the other guy. You might not kill them that turn, but you're probably gonna win the duel that way. You know, like I just don't see a reason you'd want to play this. It seems really bad. Unless I miss something on the skill that makes this one specifically better over playing the other Utopia. I don't see a reason you'd do it. You can check out the bundle cut. I guess we might as well read it out for guys that don't play Master Duel. Draco Berserker. Berserker? Is that what it is? It is. Draco Berserker is coming. By the way, also a Tenyi. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish it. If this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sent it to the graveyard, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Also, it can make a second attack on monsters during this battle phase. So this card's a great turn 1. If your opponent activates any sort of monster effect, you can choose to banish it, get rid of that shit. If it just attacks, you can swing a second time, probably with a billion attack. It has 3,000 stat line alone already, so it's pretty good. And yeah, it's a Tenyi card, so you can summon it off of, I think this thing summons Tenyis, right? Or it summon worms. No, you summon this thing anyway. This thing can summon it back, so even though it's limit 1, if your opponent removes it, you can technically bring it back again. Yeah. Alright, so what's the general consensus on this box? I think, hot take here, I think a meta deck will come out of this box. I'm not sure which one will be the meta deck. Will it be the Tenyis? Will it be the Toons? Will it be the BLSs? I don't know, but I think one of these will be meta. There's too many good cards in here for none of these to be meta. There has to be something in here has to be good enough. Like, my god. There are so many good cards in here. The amount of Toon shit we got, my god. Something has to come out of here that's meta relevant. Surely. Holy. I think the deck I'm most curious about as to whether or not it's actually going to be like playable is BLS, just because it's so fucking confusing to work out what the hell this deck does. But I think Tenyi and BLS, Tenyi and Toon, no matter what way you technically build it, you're probably going to end up with something playable, which is a good sign. The Toon Trap is crazy. It certainly is. This card's busted. And it's searchable, I think. Wait, is it searchable with this thing? Add one Toon World or colors. You see list Toon World. Does this thing list Toon World? Wait, this thing doesn't list Toon World. But the other thing does, right? No, how's the, where's the other Toon spell, the book? This thing. This thing searches for it. So you have to use Bookmark to search for this, or Dark Magician can search for it too. I think. Dark Magician has, Spell Trap, right? Yeah, so Dark Magician can search for it too. So you use Dark Magician or you use Toon Table. Alright, what's your opinion on this, chat? Let's put you guys on screen. What's your thoughts? I mean, you guys are technically already on screen, but now you're on screen a second time. What's your thoughts, boys? How is this box looking? What are we looking forward to? Toon's best deck? It seems like it could be. Could very well be. A searcher for a searcher that searches a searcher. Very true. Decent. 7 out of 10? Only 7? I think as far as boxes go, this is a pretty banger one. I guess this Ultra is a bit of a letdown for the entire box, but everything else seems pretty good. Like, even the Utopia stuff seems pretty good. I'm not sure. I don't think I doubt the Utopia stuff's meta relevant, but it seems pretty good otherwise. No witchcraft to support, so bad. Okay, that's a fair take. Yeah, in terms of content, this box is like a 10 out of 10 for me, because I've got like, what have I got? I've got Toons to make, I've got Tenyis to make, I've got BLS to make, I can make whatever the hell this thing is, Utopia to make. I can also make a video on wherever it is. I've lost the stupid fusion, this thing, the dual avatar if I want to do that. So there's a lot of content in here. Maybe you get 7 of the same cards, suck my balls. Toon will definitely top Casey Cup, maybe. Yeah, a lot of content in here, so expect a lot of content starting... Actually, not tomorrow. The box drops in like 24 hours, right? So there'll probably be a stream, and then... So I don't normally upload to later in the day. It'll probably be a few hours after the... Quite a few hours after the box is released. Yeah, it's just like a couple of... Wait, it's less than 24 hours. What's this thing drop? Like... Huh? It's not even the 1:30 release like they normally do, is it? Next, that'd be 24 hours from now. What the hell? Is this like a midnight release? Huh? Maybe you will get an actual video on day one. Fucking quick video, but maybe. Alright, boys. That's going to do it from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. If you want to see the actual box releases and decks when they come out from me, remember to hit that fat subscribe button. But yeah, that's going to do it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And yeah, this seems like a banger content box, so... This box has the skip main phase 2 card, so it's the best box ever. Very true. Based chatter. I'll show you some decks. Nah, we done here, boys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll catch you on a later stream.